Welcome to the Coalition of Scrubs, and yes, that was all of our collective natural voices singing.
What is up, guys? It is King Scarlet Yu-Gi-Oh! Back again with yet another deck profile that I am confident calling pretty good. Guys, this is my Crusadia Invoked deck profile, and it is banging. I'm so impressed with, not myself, but with what this can do by just adding Parallel Exceed and the Invoked engine. You open so many pathways to be able to go first or go second, which is always something that I look for in a deck. If it can do both equally well, I think that makes it a really top tier contender. And so I think I've got something here. I really do. And feel free to improve it. Obviously, this is just a roadmap, and I use cards that I have. So if you've got something that's better, throw it in and make it your own by all means. Now, I am going to address the elephant in the room for those that are used to my normal deck profiles. I don't normally do these digitally, right? And so this is kind of strange, a weird setup. Not that I'm an in-person versus digital purist, but I do physical deck profiles normally, right? Because actually I do that because looking at just this giant conglomerate of pictures, it's really easy for me to get overwhelmed and forget what I'm saying. And I do that anyway, so I don't need any push to already forget what I'm saying when I'm already scatterbrained. So that's why I usually stick to in-person, because I can just see what I'm talking about right there in front of me. I've got nothing else distracting me. I'm looking at what I'm talking about, whereas digital messes me up a little easier. But I'm doing digital because I ordered some cards that didn't come in time for me to release this on my scheduled date for the Coalition. And I really want to get this deck profile out there on the Coalition. So we're just going to do it digitally because this is what I wanted to do. And it's unfortunate that the mail system sometimes is slow, but you know, COVID has done some stuff. So there we are. We've addressed that. Let's jump into the profile, guys. This is I'm just so excited about it, and I hope you will be too. So let's start. Parallel Exceed. I think by now people know what this does. I'm definitely not the pioneer of figuring out that this card is good in a link deck. That's what it's for. But with Crusadia specifically, it's great because you summon a lot, and so you can get your Rafflesia out and have an out to Nibiru with Gravedigger's Trap Hole. And then we've got Maximus here, and he is your OTK machine. He's what allows you to deal double damage. If you're a Crusadia, if you know anything about Crusadias at all, you probably already knew that, but if you don't, that's what he does. And I like to save him for last when I'm summoning and finally link climbing. I like to get him out there last so that I can use him going second. Now, if you're going first, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. So you can throw him out whenever. Then we've got Alistair in here at 3. If you're going to throw in the Invoked engine, you got to have Alistair at 3. And this is really cool because you can, excuse me, whoa. You can just link into Almirage and then continue link climbing with your Crusadia monsters by special summoning to that zone, but then you've also opened up invoked plays by doing so. So that's really dope, and it's really easy to do. The only weakness, I think, in this deck is it is very normal summon reliant. So you'll want to be sure you can make those plays. But I haven't had a problem with it so far. And I'm being honest about that. I would tell you. I wouldn't tell you the weakness and then be like, put on, like, so it's just something you wanna look into. If you can find a better way, definitely go for it. But yeah, so far it's been fine. I mean, lots of decks are like that now, unfortunately. We've got Crusadia Draco here. That's your recycler. Very good card, and it also helps open up Exceeds plays. Even if you don't get to do it with Parallel Exceed, you still have level 4s that you can Exceeds into if you feel it is necessary. Then we've got Leonis. This allows you to do piercing. We know when monsters are in defense position, so if you combo these two together, you can still OTK. I don't love Leonis, but you need all the Crusadia names that you can get, so it's in there at 3. Arborea is really good, actually, because she is like a Return of the Dragon Lords, where her effect doesn't actually activate, but she can protect your Crusadia monsters, so that's really nice. That protection effect is great. And it's searchable with Reinforcement of the Army, so technically we have 4 copies of Arborea. And then we've got Crusadia Reclusia, which is our removal card, which you can sometimes, if you've already used an Arborea or you've got Crusadia Power right here, you can get away with removing for free rather than destroying itself, probably is what you'll do. So you can get away with using it and still having the material instead of going negative. So that's pretty dope as well. So those are the monsters. It's pretty simple. We'll do a test hand as well so I can show you how it works. But then we've got Upstart Goblin just to keep it consistent, reinforcement for the same reasons. Pot of Avarice, just because you go through a lot of monsters very quickly, and resources sometimes win duels. So if plan ABC didn't work out, but you're still in a grindy match, this can potentially win you the game and recover you, allowing you to recycle resources back, draw 2 cards, and then get going again. So it's a very good card in this deck. Terraforming, just to make sure we get to that Alistair for our invoked plays. Invocation, obviously the fusion spell, just because it's what we need to go into the fusions. Cosmic Cyclone, right now for game 1, definitely at least pack in 2, because I build decks, by the way, for matches. So to win game 1, this is how you should probably build it, because you want to be ready for a lot of things. But then finally, when you side and do different things, you might take these out. You might put more in. That's why that other one's still in there. For back row and things like that, because back row is this deck's weakness a lot of the time. Already established boards can be tough, but as long as you can link climb and attack, you're usually good. So you can get around that a lot and bait things a little easier. However, back row can just stop you in your tracks. So that's why you want at least 2 Cosmic Cyclone, because you don't really want to be like top decking it all the time, but seeing 1 or 2 would be great. You've got Called by the Grave, just because hand traps can hurt. Crusadia Testament, this one I really like for going second or first, because you can stop your opponent from reacting to you at all. This is searchable as well. But if you're about to attack and you're not going to get the OTK, you can actually use this, and then you get to draw cards equal to the link rating. And if you attack with this guy, that's 4 cards. This guy, it's 3 cards. So still really good. It's a draw spell that allows you to plus off of just dealing damage or destroying a monster rather. So it's very good. My dog is trying to enter the frame. He's kind of passive aggressively weaseling his way into this right now. Please don't do this right now. No, don't do it. He's smacking the computer. Stop. And then we've got Crusadia Power here, because it actually can double as a copy of Called by the Grave in certain situations. And it also is just really good for going first. Now, I say that because you can set up an Avramax going first, and you've searched this out most likely, and then you can just activate it in the standby phase. Just activate it on Avramax here, and you've got an unbeatable boy. Now, if they can kaiju it, they can kaiju it, but that's just always been the name of the game. Kaijus just win over everything, right? So this, though, becomes nearly unbeatable when you use the immunity spell here. Then we've got Magical Meltdown to search our Alistair, and that effect obviously is useful too, so that they can't negate your fusions. And then Crusadia Revival is one that I search on occasion if maybe I've already seen these, they're already in hand, but I also don't have enough damage to put out in order to OTK, so this helps with that. And it allows you to attack all the monsters in addition to that attack boost, so that's really nice. Then we've got our trap holes here that help for more interruption when we have our Rafflesia on board. You want to have at least 2 trap spells for her, in my opinion, just because if you draw one, obviously you can just set it like a regular trap, and that's not that big of a deal, but you still want to be able to use her because that's just an additional interruption. So I went with Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. It says when a monster that was special summoned this turn activates its effect on your opponent's field, negate that effect. So it's just another monster negate, and then you destroy that card. And obviously Gravediggers is mostly Nibiru defense, but it can also help with other niche, like Graveyard or Banished effects type deal. So really good, these 2. Let's go into the extra deck. We've got Almirage, really just for Alistair. You can use it with other ones, but it's mostly for Alistair to open up invoked plays and continue to link climb. Magius searches out more Crusadia monsters for you, so you'll want to make this on occasion if you haven't seen what you need to see. Then you've got Regulex. He searches the spells. He's not super important, but if you do want to see the spells, make him. Invoker of Madness is here for now. I haven't really used him often, but on occasion I threw him in just because there was room. And occasionally, you know, you can make this. Let's say you draw your invocation, but no Alistairs. You can make this and still be able to make an invoked monster that way. Equimax is, you know, the guy that OTKs, and the negation thing's not bad. I've occasionally ended with an Equimax with a negate plus some other things, so that can be really useful. He just loses attack when you do that, so that's kind of a bummer. Then we've got Avramax, who's just a really dope boss monster and really hard to deal with, so I would highly recommend him. Rafflesia, I've pretty much explained already. Abyss Dweller is good because it's just Abyss Dweller. You know, it takes care of the grave. And then all your invoked plays. This is your OTK. This one I'm just experimenting with. I haven't used it a lot, but it's occasionally good for removal. And then we've got Makaba for negation and Raijin for just another good interruption. Side deck here is for just matchups that are hard. Obviously, established boards really suck, and back row sucks. So we've got evenly matched and two kaijus here and some more back row hate. But then for going first, because people see Crusadias and they might make you go first, Ibli can be good if you're playing something that's like an entirely synchro deck or something like that. They're going to have to deal with this. And then this also can be a recursion thing for you. Imperm, Zimperm. And then we've got, there can only be one because this deck actually has a lot of different types. So you can get away with using this and it can be a total shutdown card. So yeah, guys, that's the deck. Let's do a test hand or two. Hopefully this doesn't suck. Let's do it. All right, so here we are at a test hand. And it could be better, could be worse. So we're going to normal summon our Maximus and go into, it looks like we're just going to have to do regular Crusadia stuff this time. This isn't the end of the world. It's just not what I was hoping to show, but I can't control that. So here we are, you know. We might be able to save this. We won't be doing invoked plays because we already normal summoned, but we might be able to figure something out. I think the best choice would be to get Arborea. Then we'll go into... that's an option. We do already have power. Decisions. That might be good, but then I'd rather use Pot of Avarice and see what happens actually. So now we're here, and I know this is weird probably to some of you, but sometimes the best thing you can do is end on an Avramax that's your only card, right? And you make him immune. And that's really hard for your opponent to deal with, believe it or not. So we're going to actually, I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah, and we can do it. And then we're going to do Pot of Avarice here. Oh, this is perfect. So I know it doesn't look like much, but this is really tough for your opponent to deal with. So now we're going to go into Avramax, right? And kablam, there's your turn one going first. Now I know some people are like, whoa, that's not a whole lot. I get it. But then, okay, you're going to chain this on your opponent's turn. And now he's immune. And then you'll have this ready to go for if they decide to battle him, because some people still do. But if not, you're going to use it on your next turn and draw more cards from the battle, or just not let them chain to you. So now we get to shuffle back all these resources that we used, and we get to draw 2 cards. So that's when this comes in clutch, because you use a lot of resources. So let's see what we get, and boom, we are set up for next turn. So again, that's what this deck, that's what I'm trying to say, and I said it poorly, I think, in the profile. But what you do is, you know, going first, if you don't end up on a wombo combo, and sometimes you don't, like right now, you know, we didn't get invoked plays, we didn't see Parallel Exceed, but it's still incredibly powerful to have an immune Avramax. Like, good luck to your opponent getting rid of that, to be honest, because it's unaffected by everything, and if they try to attack him, they're not going to win. So there you go, and then we're set up for next turn. So you've got your Alistair ready to go, you've got a Crusadia monster, which means you're going to be able to climb right back up. because you can link this guy into a Magius if you really don't want. I don't know why you would, but if you want to restart and try to go the full combo again, you can't. So yeah, let's try another test here. All right. Oh, I don't know why I made that sound, but here we are. Let's normal summon Alistair, and we will get another copy of Invocation, which is pretty dope. And we will immediately go into Almirage. All right, so then we're going to special summon our Leonis and climb into a Regulex. All right, and then we're going to special summon Draco. Both effects will trigger. We'll do this one first and this one second. That's called chain blocking, kids. And we'll get back our Leonis, I guess. It doesn't really matter at this point. And we'll grab a power. And then I think it might be wiser to climb back down into a Magius, then activate Invocation and go into a Makaba using these guys. And now Magius is going to trigger. And we will grab, what should we grab actually? I made a weird face. Let's grab Arborea. Protection's always good. And then we'll grab back our Alistair, and we can actually make another invoked monster because we already have Invocation. So that's pretty dope. And now we can, I would climb up into Madness. Now we're going to special summon Arborea. And I don't believe, yeah, I didn't think we could. Yeah, we'll now climb into, you don't really need to, actually. So I don't know what the best option at this point is. Can make another Makaba. Yeah, actually, that's probably that's the most reasonable thing to do. Well, is it though? Let's make a Raijin, because we want to keep our resource game tight. Yeah, there's no reason to link climb into just a vanilla Equimax. So I would just do this for now. And there you are. You've got at least 2 interruptions. You've got Arborea, and if she's in the graveyard, whatever, she's a resource, and you're set up for next turn again. So I know that, again, this doesn't look incredible. It's not, 18 negates, God tier. But what I'm saying is there's always a play line you can go down with this deck, and it has a ton of potential to be top tier. So let's do one more, and we'll call it a day. Oh, we finally got to see Parallel Exceed. Okay, here we are, babies. Sorry I called you babies. Let's go ahead, and I think same game plan. We will go into Alistair and get our Invocation and link into Almirage. And now Parallel Exceed's going to trigger, which is super fun. So we'll have, you could either go into Rafflesia or, why can't I ever, Abyss Dweller. You could go into either one. I'm going to choose Rafflesia. I feel like I always kind of stumble over saying the title of this card, but I'm not confident in my ability to pronounce it. So we'll special summon this, obviously no effect to trigger off. Bummer when you don't get to use it, but it's not the end of the world. I think that it would be wise to go into a Regulex first. Okay, and then we will invoke. Oh, I should have paid attention to what's in the graveyard, because now I think I have to use Regulex. All right, well, I made a mistake, but yeah, I did. It's okay. But this still isn't bad. Here we are on our ending board, because I probably should have thought that through a little more. I probably should have made Magius and then, but I got ahead of myself. So forgive me, I make mistakes, I'm a human. But still, guys, is this not impressive? This is with Crusadia. What are we looking at here, right? So, and you're set up for next turn again. And then you got this. So it's pretty dope, guys. It's a really fun deck, and it can do so much. And, you get those occasional God hands, and I didn't fabricate this video so that I only show you the god hands, but they exist and you can do some crazy cool stuff. I mean, and if I can do stuff like this on like meh hands, imagine the potential on really, really good hands. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. We'll go back to the profile here, give you a quick look-see. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see ya.